We get it from my mama. 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 Yeah. I got melanin. Oh yeah.
Hey world, it's your girl, Melanated Pearl, bringing that black light to things that aren't quite right. Today, we would like to talk about the idea of angry, the stereotype often given to Black women when we express ourselves in a personal or professional space.
Black women are probably the only group of humans that could help found a country, take care of that country spiritually, physically nurturing children of the slave master, spiritually, uplifting a family in the most, egregious conditions, physically being taken advantage of, whether it is rape, whether it is beating, to withstand that, generation after generation, as you see every other group of people advancing themselves. When you think about our anger, it is internalized generationally, and sometimes it's modeled in a way that we don't always understand it. So even when we have moments, when we can always attribute, PTSD to other groups of people, no one ever looks at us and wonder if, chemically and organically, we've inherited traits and characteristics from years of suppression, when everything that is, organically good about us has been commodified to benefit everyone else.
Amen. Persistent traumatic stress syndrome is what we have. It is not post, it is a persistent trauma.
That man over there says women need to be helped into carriages, lifted over ditches, and to have the best place everywhere. Nobody helps me into carriages or carries me over mud puddles or gives me any best place, and ain't I a woman?
A lot of times, especially when you get to a certain level of your career as a Black woman, you have learned to walk a tightrope of emotion. And so sometimes what seems like this, supernatural, out of the ordinary outburst is just a genuinely human reaction to a situation.
I have plowed, I have planted, I have gathered into bonds, and no man could head me. And ain't I a woman?
We have been able to give this country, help build it, but then when we offer the commentary, the actual words, language, and expressions, that's the part of the product that nobody wants to buy. Everybody's more than willing to take the hard work, take the, physical and intellectual license. But when it's time to offer some commentary to support all of that, I think that's the part that American society has a hard time dealing with. And it automatically gets labeled as angry and defensive. And most of the time, it is really just the language we've always used as we reflect and express ourselves. But it's easier to package up. It's easier to package as angry so you can have a defensive reaction to it.
People, like, when I'm really angry, it doesn't look like what you think it does. It's me fully detaching from this process. And I don't know if this country is really ready. Like, you haven't really seen us angry yet, because that is going to cause a shift in not just your workforce, but in your life.
Intellect. That's it, honey. What's intellect got to do with women's rights or Negroes' rights?
When we really decide to say we're not going to be used anymore as a commodity for these movements, as a commodity, for advancement and progress that we don't get to benefit from at all.
Listen as Oprah and First Lady Michelle Obama discuss her response.
The Black women you see on the local news at night in cities all over the country, they're usually angry about something.
When you were labeled that angry Black woman, was that one of the things that knocked you back a bit?
Well, that was one of those things that you just sort of think, dang, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
I mean, you just sort of feel like, wow, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
And that's the first blowback, because you think, wow, that is so not me. But then you sort of think, well, this isn't about me. This is about the person or the people who write it,
right.
Where does your Christ come from? Where does your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with him. So if the first woman God ever made could turn the world upside down all alone, then these women together ought to be able to turn it right back side up again. And now that they asking to do it, men ought to let them.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.